Hello and welcome, my name is Mauri. In the previous video called the Kiss of Death, we learned how to checkmate an opponent's king on the edge of the board with our queen, and the queen could be protected by any of our pieces. What if the king that we want to checkmate isn't on the edge but in the center? That's where the royal dance comes in. So this is the position that we're going to be working from, and I'm going to show you how to drive that enemy king to the edge so that we can checkmate him. And I'm going to show you how to do this in 4 easy steps. Alright, step number 1, force the enemy king onto the edge of the board. Our queen is so strong that she can actually do this all by herself. Step number 2, create an electric box. I'll show you in a moment what that means. Step number 3, bring in your own king. And step number 4, checkmate. Now let's see how this works on a chessboard. So our first move is not an obvious one. It is queen to c3. But what I want you to notice is that the distance between our queen and the enemy king is exactly how a knight would move. So that's going to help you to remember the sequence that we're about to see. So a knight's distance away, and also notice that we're not checking. We're actually not going to check at all until we deliver that last checkmate at the very end. So black will now try to stay in the center, so he plays king e4. And now the dance is actually quite simple. We're just going to copy black's movements. So for example here, he went down diagonally 1, and then we just do the same, down diagonally 1. If he goes up 1 square, we go up 1 square. So he goes up 1 square, we go up 1 square. And already we have actually made some progress, because now he's not in the center anymore and he can't get back. He tries to stay close to the center probably, so he went down diagonally 1 to the right, and we just do the same. If he goes up 1, you guessed it, we go up 1. He goes up 1, we go up 1. Easy, right? So he goes like this, we go like that, just the same. And notice how we always keep that knight's distance. Alright, so he goes up 1, we go up 1, and let's say he plays king h6. So now he's already on the edge of the board, and then we can create the electric box. So what we do is we look at what rank or file is he on. So in this case, he's on the H file. So what we do is we go to the G file like this. So that cuts him off along the G file and creates this electric box around him. We wanted to have some squares to go to also. So now he has these 3 squares marked in green. All right. But what if he plays king h8? This move is actually a little bit sneaky, because black is now hoping that we're going to continue to do the dance. But remember, as soon as it goes onto the edge, we go to step number 2, the electric box, not continue to dance. So let's have a look at first what black is hoping for. So he went up 1 diagonally to the right. He's hoping that we're going to continue to dance. And if we do that like this, then he doesn't have any moves and he's not in check, and we call that stalemate. So stalemate means the game ends in a draw, and that's what we have to avoid. We want to win the game with checkmate, not draw the game with stalemate. So another mistake would be queen f7, which is also stalemate. Black has no moves and he's not in check. So what we do is we look at where he is. He's in the corner, he's on the H file, and he's also on the 8th rank. So what we do is we set up an electric box. If we want to do it, if we want to cut him off along the H file, then we can, for example, play queen g5 and make sure that he has a square to go to. So he has the h7 square. If we want to cut him off and keep him stuck on the 8th rank, then we set up our box along the 7th rank. So we play queen d7, because that move doesn't stalemate him. So notice all these green squares. That's good. We want black to have some squares to go to, but we also want to keep him confined to the 8th rank like this, with our beautiful electric box here marked in red. So then he has a move, king g8, and now we just go to step 3, which is we want to bring in our own king. So we play king g2. And black now only has 2 options. He can play king h8 or king f8. And the green line now shows what we're about to do. Our king is just going to go for a little march up to g6. So king g3, king g8, we walk, we'll keep on walking. It's a bit of a walk. Our king's getting a little bit tired, but he finally made it all the way up to g6. And now after king f8, we can deliver step 4, which is checkmate. And there are 2 ways to checkmate in this position. One of them is queen f7, which is a kiss of death. The other one is queen d8, which is checkmate, and all the lines here show how we're attacking the squares around the king, so he can't get out of this check. Now, because I've been showing this lesson to a lot of students, I'll show you some of the mistakes that they have made. Some of them have played, for example, queen e8, but then black will simply take. Another mistake that they've sometimes made is queen e7. Same kind of mistake, he just takes. Queen e6 is a common mistake, which is stalemate, so we don't want that. He doesn't have a move and he's not in check. Queen d6, it's a check, but he can move his king out of the check. What else have they done? Some of them have played king h7, which is also stalemate. So now he can't move and he's not in check. Alright, so I think that's probably about all of the mistakes that my students... some of them have played queen c8 also, but that allows him to escape. So those are I think pretty much... there's one more actually, queen g7. Some of them have played that, but then king e8. So I think I've shown you most of the moves that my students have tried in this position, just in case you were wondering about some of those moves. Also, after king g6, he could have played king h8. And now, how many ways to checkmate do you see for white? There are no less than 5 ways to checkmate, so let's find them. Queen h7 is a kiss of death checkmate. Queen g7 is also checkmate. And then if you can put your queen on the 8th rank, that will be checkmate. And there are 3 ways to do that. So queen e8 is checkmate, queen d8 is checkmate, and queen c8 is checkmate. All right, so let's end this with the kiss of death. So this was the royal dance about how to checkmate the opponent's king when you have just a king and a queen left. This will, if you play a lot of games of chess, this will happen every once in a while. So it's really useful to know this technique. I do thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.